Let's do it.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for coming out. My name is Sean DeRee. I'm the Commissioner of the California Highway Patrol. Been very pleased to be joined today by our Governor, Governor Gavin Newsom, and Chief Floyd Mitchell of the Oakland Police Department. I'm going to give you a little update on what CHP's efforts have been in Oakland. I look forward to hearing from Chief Mitchell and the Governor as well. CHP in August of 2023 deployed a team of officers to Oakland to assist the Oakland Police Department. Their mission, their assignment was proactive enforcement, targeting vehicle theft, highway violence, organized crime, in-view patrol. We called this Operation Safe Streets. Operation Safe Streets laid the groundwork for our larger law enforcement surge back in February of this year when we deployed 120 officers and investigators to the greater East Bay. This was a joint effort with our partners throughout Alameda County and Oakland, including Oakland Police Department, Alameda County Sheriffs. During this surge, our officers conducted a variety of enforcement operations focused on traffic safety, auto theft, retail theft, cargo theft. These are central to the CHP's mission of providing the highest level of safety, service, and security to the people of California. The February operation was a success and yielded impressive results, quickly leading to the formation of a CHP dedicated crime suppression team in the East Bay. This team has been patrolling Oakland's hotspots, including some of the ones on Broadway, Hagenberger area, all in addition to the work of the CHP's Golden Gates Special Services Unit, which is conducting multi-agency sideshow street racing operations, combating vehicle theft, recovering stolen cargo containers at the Port of Oakland, tackling fencing operations at Oakland flea markets, and combating commercial vehicle violations in or about Oakland. To date, these operations have resulted in over 560 arrests by CHP, including 156 felony arrests, the recovery of more than 1,100 stolen vehicles, and the seizure of 55 firearms. Before I turn to Chief Mitchell, I will just say the crime that we're witnessing and seeing in Oakland is unacceptable. And at the Governor's direction, the CHP is stepping up and will further our efforts to ensure the safety of our community. The people of Oakland, the people of California deserve to have a community that's safe. The CHP is all in. We'll be doubling down our efforts to support the Oakland PD and assist them ensuring that the people of Oakland have the safe community that they deserve. Chief Mitchell.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. And first of all, I want to thank Governor Newsom for making the investment in Oakland and doing everything that he can from his level and from his seat to make Oakland safer. Yesterday, I got to spend most of the day in East Oakland talking to the business owners about some of the crime that we've been facing here in Oakland. I think it's important to understand that the cooperation and coordination that we have not only with the governor's office and the CHP and our other law enforcement officers within Alameda County and the Bay Area is strong. We continue to work with our federal partners to address crime and the perception of crime within the Alameda County and Oakland itself. I think it's important to also shout out to Mayor Tao for advocating for the citizens of Oakland to the mayor's office, to the governor's office to get this additional assistance for our individuals, or for our community here in Oakland. So I look forward to the continued cooperation with the California Highway Patrol and our officers, the ceasefire program to address the crime issues that we are facing here in Oakland. And with that, I'll turn it over to the governor.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chief, and thank you to Commissioner. Thank you to men and women of the Oakland Police Department, our partners in this effort. As the Commissioner noted, we initiated some proactive policing late last year here in Oakland. We stepped that up significantly in February with an operation to target and to saturate areas of Oakland with aggressive policing that addressed some of the heightened concerns that many of the residents and business leaders had experienced. We saw great initial success. We committed not to turn our back and walk away to the people of Oakland, but we were sober about the fact that the CHP has operations all across the state of California and cannot supplement the work that's done by local law enforcement, but can enhance it. Our job was to focus here on Oakland, but also to focus on other regions, including areas in and around the Bay Area. Regions, by the way, now across the state that include Bakersfield, where we've been running similar operations. The last 2 weeks we've been down in Riverside. We'll be talking, highlighting more about the success of that early operation, or at least the success of the last few weeks, the early part of that operation in the coming weeks and days. But we're back here in Oakland, mindful that there's still more work to be done, mindful that we need to step up our efforts and step up our resources. We're going to move the California Highway Patrol from 42 shifts that they're currently operating in Oakland. We're going to increase that fourfold. We're going to have 162 shifts starting next week. We're going to focus over the course of the next 4 months. This is not a permanent operation. It can't be a permanent operation. It's not the job of the California Highway Patrol. But over the course of the next 4 months, we're committing to keep up the intensity of this operation that, as the commissioner noted, has already generated 1,162 stolen vehicles that have been recovered, 1,162, 562 arrests, as the commissioner noted, and now 56 guns that are linked to crimes specifically. That's the operation to date. It's been successful, and now we're moving into this next phase. We also are mindful that we need to be more aggressive as it relates to the investigations and accountability, the prosecutions of some of these cases. Yes, we've been disappointed, the lack of engagement with the DA's office, and so we're moving forward. Rather than complaining about it, rather than lamenting about it, we're going to be moving some of the prosecution to the state of California, the Attorney General's office, for, again, targeted prosecution. This is not the job of the AG's office to assume all the responsibility of the Alameda County DA's office, quite the contrary. But we want to lessen the load. We want to address some of the more complex cases. So we'll take case by case. The AG's office could talk more about specific cases another time, but the idea is to supplement and support those efforts at the local DA's office to move forward. Unfortunately, our offer to provide California CalGuard, which we refer to as JAGS, along the lines of what we did very successfully in partnership with Brooke Jenkins in San Francisco, that was not enthusiastically embraced. So we have to move forward with a new approach with our Attorney General and our Department of Justice. So we're moving in that direction as well. I'll remind folks that this was not just a law enforcement only program, quite the contrary. I met with leaders in the community, and we said this was a holistic, bottom-up approach. Those ongoing, unprecedented investments in community building continue. We were able to hold the line broadly with our 2-year budget, balanced budget, not just for this year, but next year, and maintaining the vast majority of those investments here in Oakland and Alameda. That includes a 10-point plan with Caltrans on beautification, on cleaning up. I've been very directly involved in that. Feel like I'm mayor again, back out there on the streets, rolling up my sleeves, cleaning up some of these streets and encampments and doing some of the beautification work. That work continues. We're not walking away from that as well. But look, I'm not the mayor of Oakland. I'm not a member of the County Board of Supervisors of Alameda County. Our job is not to substitute, but again, to support the work that's being done. I want to thank the mayor's office for being a partner in these proactive programs as it relates to the policing, not a sparring partner, a working partner as it relates to these works. And that's why I'm very grateful the chief is here, and I'm very grateful for the partnership and the open hand of support the chief has provided the men and women from the Highway Patrol. Final point, just deep respect for our Highway Patrol. I've been saying this over and over and over again. This is the Swiss Army knife of law enforcement in this state. You've seen them all up and down the state, not just out there doing their traditional work on the freeways and keeping us safe, working to make sure people are getting home and getting through their day-to-day lives. But they've been asked and tasked to do work on fentanyl interdiction. They've been asked and tasked to do work on retail theft. They've been asked and tasked to do work on campuses, and they continue to meet the call over and over again, including, by the way, the call to reinforce the ranks. And I want to just thank the commissioner. We've committed to over 1,000 new CHP officers. I think we got an academy class this week. You've got over 100 new cadets. We're on pace. We're making progress there as well. That will allow us to supplement and support more of these efforts down the line in the state. Final point. One of the highlighted areas for this state has been addressing the issues of retail theft, organized retail theft, the smash and grab, the issues that have been highlighted over and over again. If you haven't been paying attention, turn on your social media. We've been very focused on that for years now. You may recall Long Beach, we were with police chiefs from up and down the state of California years ago, announcing a new task force with the California Highway Patrol, working with our investigators, the National Guard, to support our efforts to address retail theft, organized retail theft. We provided unprecedented grants to cities and counties up and down the state. You may recall over a year ago, about $267 million specifically for new grants for vertical prosecution, investigations, and technology related to the issues of organized retail theft. I say all that to make this point. I also want to highlight the work the California Highway Patrol has been doing with our partners. Year to date, 167% increase in the number of arrests related to those task force efforts. So they're paying dividends. And we want to see more work done now that all that money has been distributed, hundreds of millions of dollars, money in the past never existed, real money to support sheriffs, to support local municipalities in these efforts going forward. So we're continuing to stay on that and very mindful of the stress and anxiety that many people are feeling in that area as well. With that, of course, we're here to answer any questions.
Now you have another Alameda person, the district attorney, basically turned down your request to give them free services from trained prosecutors. What do you make of what's going on?
Well, that's why I'm back.
Can I clarify?
And, well, yeah, Chief has a strong opinion. I'll defer to him.
So, first of all, I want to clarify something in regards to you're talking about the 76 gas station. And again, I'm very new to... okay. I thought you were talking about the 76 gas station, but I want to address that because you said it took hours for us to respond. So I want to address that situation because I think it's very important. First of all, me and my executive staff, we're going to take any crime within the city of Oakland very seriously. I met with Sam yesterday at 76 gas station in regards to the incident that occurred this past weekend following a sideshow activity. And what I explained to the business owner, Sam, and we had a good conversation before we came out and spoke to the media because I wanted them to understand that we had a conversation about what occurred. What occurred that day is the information that was provided to our dispatch. First of all, it came in an hour later than the event that happened. Everyone had left the location. And beyond that, when his employee communicated what had happened to his business, it was prioritized as a property crime at that point in time. So the call was delayed. And one of the things that we talked about in detail yesterday and that Deputy Chief Casey Johnson is doing is we are spending some time educating our business owners on what to say when they have crimes occur at their business. So I agree with you. No business should have what happened to him happen to him. But we also need to make sure we're partnering with our business owners to educate them on what they need to communicate to us so we provide the proper response. So I do want to clarify that because I didn't want the governor to get up here and have to explain why there was a delay in the response. There was a delay in response in regards to for a number of reasons. So I'll let you address that other piece. But we are working with our business owners to make sure that we are responding appropriately, based on the information that they can provide us, but it's also our responsibility to educate not only our business owners but our public on when you dial 911, communicate the proper information so we can prioritize the call properly so you can get the appropriate response. I'm not up on the jewelry store, so I'll be more than happy. I'll be more than happy to meet with you after this to fight the information. But I can't. You're asking me something that I don't know about. So and you're shaking your head like I'm supposed to know about that. If you want to get with me afterwards, I got my PIO here. We can address that specific situation. Governor.
Thanks. So look, we're here try to solve problems and address these challenging issues. We're here not to solve for every incident, or at least try to reflect on each one, but solve for a pattern. The pattern continues, it persists. And so we're stepping up our efforts to support the community, to support law enforcement. We've made a firm commitment. We've seen the fruits of that over the course of the last number of months. Unprecedented resources. I agree with you. Let me express just deep frustration that we put out money for the city and they didn't apply for the grant. So I'm going to answer that quite directly. Very frustrated by that. But that frustration can turn into despair and cynicism, and we could turn our back, but I'm never going to turn my back on this community. I love Oakland. It needs to heal. It's a great community. I have deep roots here. And I said I'd come back in February. I've been back 5 or 6 times since. High-profile efforts. Now we're back significantly, forcefully, to address these concerns that have been highlighted not only by the question, but continue to be highlighted by members of the community.
Hey, good morning, Governor. Travis Gilmore with the Epoch Times. Some Alameda County residents believe that criminals are emboldened by the district attorney's reluctance to prosecute some cases. Is it similar concerns that led to the redeployment of the prosecutors? And when can we expect to see the Attorney General picking up these cases? Well,
they're already moving on that, the AG's office. Look, we put out a letter detailing this process, and it was clear to me that we were just extending for time, and there wasn't a sincere commitment to follow through on the offer. As you know, the head of the unit, our narcotics unit, actually has left. So now the unit has no supervisor and actually no personnel. We expressed frustration with that. They said, well, we'll do interviews and resumes, and we talked about the urgency of now. This moment we're living in. Enough. We all have to step up. We all have to be accountable. All of us have to step up and be accountable. It's a serious moment of confidence, a crisis for members of the community. People have lived here for years and years and not seen it like this. People deserve better. They deserve more. And they deserve all of us to be better and do more. And that's why I'm back in this expression. And rather, again, than lament about it and just spend all my time pointing fingers, we're now working around this, and the AG's office said yes, and then we will redeploy those resources, the JAG resources, and support the efforts of the DOJ, and then support his other efforts. As you may recall, a few years back, with the Attorney General, we created a new unit, a retail theft unit, specific to that issue in the Department of Justice as well. We've resourced that over the last few years. So he's in a very good place to be very supportive. And, of course, your Attorney General happens to be from this county. So it's personal to him as well.
And on a positive note, Ken Houston, better known to locals as the son of Oakland, he's the director of the Beautification Council. This is a nonprofit that is delivering results. And they are doing this by showing compassion and dignity and respect and employing homeless and justice impacted. Is there anything in the budget to help support groups like Ken's?
Well, he's been a big partner of ours. I know him well, and he's been very supportive of our efforts on beautification. He's been out there with us in some of these volunteer efforts. So, look, our Clean California included $1.1 billion, $1.1 billion, a few $100 million for matching grants for locals. All of those dollars are fungible in the context of being flexible for applications and for programs like his. So there are a lot of resources in this space, and I will say that beautification effort, Clean California, has turned out to be a very popular program. It's been oversubscribed, but very supported by the legislature. We're able to hold the line on its budget this year as well, so we're able to move forward with additional funds over the course of the next fiscal year.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Hey, Governor. Jeremy White with Politico. Thanks for making some time for us. Both you and legislative leaders identified retail crime as a priority this year. Since then, there's been some missteps, I think, in Sacramento. A lot of people would say you were adamant you weren't going to go to the ballot. Then you floated a ballot initiative. You pulled it back at the 11th hour. Now it looks like a lot of these legislative efforts could be eclipsed by that ballot initiative that you and legislative leaders failed to neutralize. What's your message for the people of California looking at this and seeing that you and legislative leaders were not able to make it happen on this?
Well, I completely reject the premise of your question. We have 13 pieces of legislation that are substantive and meaningful, that actually address the issues at hand. Those pieces of legislation are moving through the process, and they'll land on my desk in a matter of weeks. And they address fundamentally the issues at hand. The substance, the meaningful substance of providing unprecedented grants, hundreds of millions of dollars to address these issues, and the work that in California Highway Patrol. With respect, I give them more respect for the success of their programs, the success of the legislature in appropriating these funds, the success of the legislature in moving forward with at least 12 or 13 active bills that substantively address these issues. I think the issue you're referring to is a drug policy reform that the DA's Association is promoting that has a price tag in the billions and billions of dollars. And I'll ask you, on behalf of those that read your columns, to ask them, where's that money coming from? How are you going to fund those programs? Where are those resources coming from? Billions and billions of dollars over the next few years. By the way, that's not my words, it's LAO's office, hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Those incarceration costs, et cetera. Why is it that you lay claim that this is a retail theft framework, but you didn't even touch the threshold, the $950 threshold, which I think all of you reported is the #1 issue that they were complaining about, but it wasn't even included in their initiative because it's not about retail theft. It's about drug policy reform fundamentally. So that was our effort to try to call that out, and we ran out of time with the legislature. That happens all the time. You follow Sacramento. So I'm really proud of the work the legislature's done. I'm proud of the package of reforms that will be on my desk very shortly. I'm proud of the operations that are underway locally with the funds that we provided. And we're getting serious about organized retail thefts, things that are way out of the purview of Prop 47. And I'm very concerned, yes, you are right, about this drug policy reform that takes possession and ultimately makes it a felony and increases the size of our prison population by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, over the course of the next decade at a profound cost to the taxpayers, and I don't think an improvement of public safety.
Thanks, Governor. A quick follow-up. You have, of course, expressed frustration with the District Attorney, Pamela Price, not making use of state resources. She's facing a recall vote in November, fueled by concerns about her not doing enough on crime. You have a position on that? You think she needs to be recalled?
It's all about it's not about politics today. It's about partnership. We're here to try to solve problems. I expressed my point of view about disappointment, and we also expressed a strategy to address that disappointment with action. We're here to take action and not point fingers. I think Oakland deserves the support, and we're going to provide it.
Thanks, Governor.
Thanks.
Thank you, Governor. Following up on a national topic that was brought up yesterday, George Clooney says that the Joe Biden America saw on the debate stage is the same one that he saw at the Peacock Theater. You were there at the fundraiser and you were there at the debate. Are you not seeing what he sees?
No, well, I think all of us that were at that fundraiser wondering what they were thinking of scheduling the president, who just got overseas to a fundraiser late at night. And I came home very exhausted that night. And all I had to do was fly down from Sacramento to L.A. I think the first comments I had to the president were like, who did your schedule? I couldn't even handle 3 hours in a red eye, let alone coming from overseas. So to me, those are two different things. The person that showed up at that fundraiser was a human being, like any of us, exhausted. But as it relates to the debate, that's a whole different debate and conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Governor. Good to see you. This is Annabelle Sosa with the LA Times. Just a question following up from Jeremy regarding the ballot initiative that was pulled. So, you're talking about the importance of these relationships with district attorneys, DA Pamela Price. Where does your relationship stand now with these more moderate conservative district attorneys who are leading the ballot measure that is now making its way to November? Like, where does the relationship stand? I'm thinking of DA Jeff Reisig of Yolo County. I mean, have those relationships been splintered? I know discussions didn't go well.
Happens all the time. Happens in my house. Happens with my kids. It's life. Don't overthink this. We have a fundamental disagreement around this initiative. We have deep agreement and alignment about keeping you safe. We just have a different approach in terms of how we achieve the same goals. So that's No, I'm disappointed that they're moving forward with this. I think we'll pay, all of us will pay a huge price if it passes. I mean, quite literally, not fiscal price, but I think a huge opportunity cost in terms of moving forward in a more enlightened direction. So yeah, I'm disappointed in that. But we work together on many issues. So that's the nature of the work I do every single day in my professional life and, dare I say, at peril, my private life as well.
Would you say, just to follow up, that the DA's association, the leaders who are involved in those negotiations, have they made themselves pariahs in the legislature?
Well, you got to ask members of the legislature.
What about for you, though?
I disagree with them on this issue.
Okay.
Vehemently disagree with them on this issue, and I hope that folks take a look at this initiative. Not what they say it is, but what it actually is. Consider the cost, consider the impact, consider how this brings us back decades and decades on simple possession on drug policy. And again, I plead with you. There needs to be accountability. I'm trying to balance budgets, same time, maintain investments. Where do the dollars come from? How do we finance this? I've been in this for a long, long time. This illusion that somehow you can set up thousands and thousands of drug treatment centers. Where? With what personnel? How are they going to deliver on what they're promoting? And the challenge for them is they can't answer that in good conscience because they don't have a strategy plan. They don't have a funding source. So again, on this issue, to your question, I'm responding very clearly and concisely. I vehemently disagree with their perspective on this drug policy reform, Proposition 36.
Just quickly, thank you. There wasn't a price tag on your ballot initiative. There wasn't time for that. How would that have been paid for, the competing initiative that you and the Democrats?
A simple fentanyl enhancement, pretty modest, zero cost. Not even. One has nothing to do with the other.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Felicia Mello with Cal Matters. In speaking with community members here in Oakland, specifically about the CHP deployment, one of the things I hear probably most often is, the CHP is great at recovering stolen cars, and what we're really concerned about is the crime at small businesses and homicides. And that, there is a mismatch between the resources being proposed and the actual need. And probably the thing also I hear most often, right, is this idea that we need more community violence prevention programs, right? We need alternatives for particularly young people to crime. Yeah. So can you address that critique that there's a disconnect between the problem here and the proposed solution?
Yes, thank you for that opportunity. I point them to the violence intervention program. When I came in, it was a few $1 million. I think we bolstered it to $200 million to provide grants for community building, to provide opportunities for youth, and to provide the underlying issues, or at least address the underlying issues, to address those concerns the community has identified. We put unprecedented investments in violence intervention. The work we've done through Cal Volunteers to get youth jobs, the Climate Corps, the work we've done on College Corps. We've asked for 450 hours, and we provide $10,000 grants, proportionate number first in their family to have those opportunities to go to college. People from cities like Oakland and all around the region, Alameda County and elsewhere. Unprecedented support for our youth summer programs as well, coming from the state, building on the work that the local government's doing. It was highlighted by Representative Epic Times, and I appreciated that framework that we're hiring formerly homeless individuals, people that were previously incarcerated in the Clean California initiative, a new initiative. So we're across the spectrum providing all of those supports. And I noted that 10-point specific strategy and plan through Caltran as an additional enhancement to these broader efforts. But we're not coming here to try to solve every problem. That's not the job of the CHP. We're trying to solve specific issues around sideshows, deal with the issues of DUIs, reduce some of the stress and the burden on the Alameda DA's office so they can focus on some of these other critical issues, as you suggest, and the residents demand. So absolutely, we're not trying to replicate. We're not taking over the jurisdiction here. We're supplementing and supporting, rather supplementing some areas, but primarily supporting the areas that the city and the county and the region are already advancing.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that. So am I hearing you correctly that the CHP deployment is not aimed at directly addressing issues like homicide and crime affecting small businesses, but more vehicle-related crimes to free up local police to do other things?
Well, let me build on that. We've got many other operations, the California Highway Patrol, including retail theft operations, The commissioner noted 50, I think it's 55 or 56 guns that have been recovered that are directly related to crimes. So that extends beyond just the issue as you attach. We also, as it relates to the arrests, have many felony arrests, outstanding warrants that are directly impacting all of those other crimes. So no, this is an operation that is much broader than just what's occurring in the context of what's going on around the roads and the freeways. By the way, in addition to all of this, we also, as you know, have been installing these flock cameras. We highlighted that led to a murder suspect, or rather a attempted murder suspect, I believe, attempted murder suspect on the freeway because the flock camera investments that we're making. We believe we have 190 that will be installed within the matter of the next many weeks. I think we're putting 25 or so in each week. 69 have been installed. The rest of that operation will be complete. All that will also advance some of those broader efforts of investigation. I don't know if you, Chief or Commissioner, you want to amplify that.
I'll jump in. I'll just jump in shortly and just talk about traffic stops or vehicle stops done by CHP. I would direct you toward DDACS. Data-driven approach to crime and traffic safety. It's data out there that supports that when one of our officers or any officer that is working within our county or within our city does a traffic stop, that traffic stop has an effect on the crime within that area for several hours after that traffic stop because people see the stop and see their presence. Part of what they're doing in these traffic stops is to create a high visibility presence within our community so to address that perception of crime and crime itself. But I would direct you toward the DDACS approach.
Commissioner, you.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think a lot of times misperception of the CHP is we're out there writing speeding tickets, parking tickets. It's so much more than that. It's evolved so much over the last 90 years. And we have some of the most competent investigators. You know, a lot of investigations will spawn out of a traffic stop, but will roll up into auto theft rings, complex organized crime rings. So the 56 guns is evidence of that. You know, these are criminals that are conducting crimes, and I agree with the chief too. There's a huge impact from just the black and white patrol car out there in presence, and it deters, and it slows down people, and it apprehends people. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Can you address briefly the question of privacy around CHP control of those cameras? I know there have been concerns raised also within Oakland that having CHP control them versus local control then actually sets a different standard that doesn't acknowledge all the conversations that Oakland local government has had about how to use those in a way that respects privacy.
They all kind of looked at me on that one, yeah.
I was looking at you too.
So we operate those cameras in compliance with the law. And Oakland is working through the process now through the Privacy Commission in the city to get their cameras up and on board. The 190 cameras that the governor mentioned are on state right-of-way, and those will be CHP exclusive cameras through Flock, and Flock works through a network. But, you know, the information we're gaining from those cameras, they're used to develop leads, develop criminal leads. They do not lead to the direct arrest of anybody. Those are just, it's another tool for law enforcement to use. And so all of our privacy of the cameras are in compliance with the law.
Thank you.
And I'll jump in just real quick. Yes, there's an agenda item, I believe, next week in regards to the Privacy Commission going, that memorandum going to the Privacy Commission. So we're working in conjunction with our current officials to make sure that we are following the rules, even with the implementation of the Flock program.
And we want to get those cameras up and get moving. So we're doing our part in the state right-of-ways and the freeways, but I'd love to see the city move forward with the resources we provided them to get their cameras up and operationalized as well.
Hey, Governor Newsom, thanks for taking our questions. Ellie Camisher with Bloomberg. You signed a $20 minimum wage law for fast food workers that included an exemption for chains that bake and sell bread. In March, your office said reporting on this exemption related to a Panera Bread and a billionaire was absurd, but you never explained why the exemption was put into the law. It's been months since that controversy. Do you have an explanation for this bakery exemption?
It went through a process over the course of 2 years. The legislature had dozens of hearings. There was a process that unfolded in terms of partnerships and coalitions that were being built, and we advanced it. But my understanding is they were never exempted at the end of the day. So I don't know what the issue ultimately is. But I will note, just if I may, there was some misleading reporting as it relates to the $20 minimum wage about its impact on jobs and employment. You may have seen the actual numbers that just came out. An increase of over 10,000 new jobs in the fast food industry since we initiated that $20 minimum wage, running completely contra to some of the reporting that was previously done. I think it's just important to highlight that. The intention of this was to provide low-wage workers the dignity and the opportunity to raise a family and not end up on the public dole, as many low-wage workers do, and also an increase in improved productivity. And I think it's the early signs are showing success in that respect.
To follow up to that point, so why would employees of large bakery chains be exempted from getting their wages lifted? And Chris Holden, the author, did not know why this was put into the bill, neither did the SCIU. No one's actually providing an explanation, although it went through a legislative process.
We'll have to, I don't know, the author of the bill's explanation, forgive me, I'm unaware of his.
He said that the governor's office was responsible for the negotiations.
Well, I think we've discussed this very openly and publicly for, I think, 6 months. So I don't have much to add about Mr. Holden's recent comments as it relates to rates this and the like.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Governor Newsom. David Hernandez with the San Francisco Chronicle. Just to clarify the basics of the operation you announced today, how many more officers will this bring to Oakland, and how many days a week will they be working here, and for how many hours per shift?
So it's 162 shifts, 7 days a week, number of officers. I'll leave that to our expert here.
Yeah, I'd like to keep the exact number. I can tell you it's just confidential for the safety of the officers. I can tell you the baseline right now. We were operating about 2 to 3 days a week. Safe Streets, which I mentioned, was 7 uniformed members going out 2 to 3 days a week. The crime suppression team was also in the city of Oakland 2 to 3 days a week. As the governor mentioned, each of those teams will be expanded to 7 days a week, and so we'll be increasing the personnel enough to staff those. In addition to that, we will be doing some special operations that fall within CHP's wheelhouse, the street takeovers, the street racing, the DUI checkpoints. We'll be doing those in addition to that baseline operation.
So you can't give a general number like you have in the past, like in February it was 120?
Yeah, I can tell you the baseline officer number will be around 20 officers baseline 7 days a week. And then the number of the surges, I won't give you the exact number on that.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then, again, important point to emphasize, it's a 4-fold increase from the current operations, and it's a 7-day-a-week operation.
So back to the National Guard prosecutors. Could you explain whether you were under the impression that was actually going to happen when you announced it, and what kind of cases will they be focusing on?
Well, I wouldn't have announced it if I wasn't under the impression it was going to happen, particularly on the basis of it actually materializing in the city and county of San Francisco. And I really appreciate the district attorney's support, and I think it's proven successful. Again, the entire unit was just a supervisor under the narcotics unit in the Alameda. We were looking to double it just with one person. We were going to offer more additional personnel as needed as they redeployed on the basis of existing operations. Now there's not a person there. So I felt it was imperative to keep pushing. We did for a course of a number of months. We laid this out in a letter, try to be more precise. I would refer you to that. And we just felt at this stage, with everything going on, everything swirling, the need to do more, we needed just to pull the plug at this stage and do something that we know will work with the AG's office.
And then on a final point, the Chronicle recently reported that Oakland, for years, has misreported crime data, in large part because of a lag. And your office has relied on some of that data, including a 33% reduction in crime. What can be done to ensure that Californians get accurate crime data?
I refer to you, that's local data. You can refer to our chief. We can discuss that a little bit more. We rely on local OPD data.
Yes, and we are taking a deep dive into our data and our ability to report accurate and timely data. And one of the things that I can tell you as we look at this, and we've put information out, my PIO has put information out this week, and I believe he put some information out last week. When you're talking about persons crimes, your homicide, your murders, your sexual assaults, your violent crimes, those numbers are very accurate. The delay comes from our online reporting in regards to property crimes. And we know there's a lag. We also are in the implementation phase of a brand new computer-aided dispatch, and we are moving forward with a brand new records management system that we're close to presenting to council for final approval to get into contract with a new records management company. So you are correct. There is a lag, but that lag has to do with our property crimes, not our persons crimes. Okay?
And, no data is going to convince me that we don't need to do more here in Oakland and Alameda. I assure you that. That's why we're here. We need to do more.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for taking the time today. Jacob Rogers, East Bay Times, Mercury News. I just wanted to ask, obviously you've shown a great deal of investment in the Oakland area, in the city here. You mentioned that you're not a mayor anymore, and I want to get your thoughts on, essentially what's been going on here in Oakland with Mayor Tao and the FBI raids, the grand jury investigation going on. I want to ask, first of all, do you have any thoughts on her tenureship, her tenure, her leadership here, as well as, essentially, do you have any concerns about her ability to do the job, given the distraction that has happened with these raids?
I'll leave that to you and others that are more in tune with the day-to-day governance of Oakland. As it relates to those investigations, inappropriate for me to comment on them. I will say, though, I will comment on my personal engagement as it relates to this partnership that goes back, as you know, almost a year, goes back to February when it was highlighted and extends today. That's been a good working relationship.
Just to be sure, it sounds like you've been pictured with the Duong family who are the subject of this investigation. It also appears that your Attorney General, Rob Bonta, appears to have some very close ties to this family. Do you know the family yourself, and do you have any concerns about Bonta's involvement with that family?
I don't know anything about the Attorney General's involvement with anyone as it relates to those individuals. I don't. I imagine. No association with them, and I imagine had some passing meetings or something somewhere. So, but beyond that, absolutely nothing.
And lastly, just to be sure, do you have any sort of lingering doubts about the ability for Oakland to deal with a lot of these issues that you obviously are very passionate about here, just given the turmoil that's happened here recently?
Well, we're here for a reason. Try to bolster this community, let them know we have their back. We said we'd come back. We're here in that spirit, in that light. We can't be here forever. We're here for the next 4 months, and we'll see what happens in the next 4 months. But we said we were firm in our commitment. We weren't going to walk away. And the fact that we're here is, you perhaps could read between the lines, for a reason. We're back.
Hi, Governor. I'm Annalise Finney for KTVU News. I just have a quick question. Last month, your office appointed ADA Michael Nieto from the Alameda District Attorney's Office to the Superior Court in Contra Costa. ADA Nieto is currently under review for potentially having been part of an office-wide practice of denying Black and Jewish jurors the opportunity to serve on death penalty cases. Was your office aware of this review when you made that appointment?
Yeah, we weren't. We have a judicial process. It's very exhaustive. Goes through the Jenny and JSAC commissions. None of this was brought up in any of those analyses or investigations. JSAC actually had him as extremely well qualified. Jenny is well qualified, active in La Raza law and mentorship programs, and he ironically was the one supervisor in the Alameda County DA's office on the narcotic cases. Now he's gone. That said, that investigation also is being advanced in the GO, as we refer to it, with my judicial team. They're interviewing the individual, and they'll be assessing the merits of those allegations as well and providing me an update on that very, very shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Governor, good morning. Ryan Curry with ABC 7 News. We talked about the Attorney General's involvement here, but for the cases that do go before the Alameda County DA, how would you like her to act and respond?
Look, we're not removing all the cases. I don't want to overstate this. We're just going to provide support for complex cases that are labor intensive, so she can focus on the bulk of the cases that are in front of her. We're just trying to provide more resources and be more resourceful. She chose not to embrace that path, and we have a mechanism with the AG's office, Department of Justice, to do just that. Look, she was independently elected. I'm not here to offer advice or counsel. I can only observe what I've observed. We extended a hand of partnership. Unfortunately, it wasn't reciprocated. And good people can disagree. She may have had strong opinions. It appears she did. We never got a detailed understanding of what the issue was. Initially, she showed interest in that partnership, and it just never materialized. But we don't have time. We just don't have time. People don't want to wait another hour, another day. They don't want to go through another weekend. The Juneteenth activities here, what's happened with these retail theft. I've been down there. I've been meeting with a lot of these gas station folks down there in Hagenberger and elsewhere. I appreciate the role and the job of governor, representing state larger than 21 state populations combined, 478 cities. I was a former mayor. I understand my role as former mayor. Also understand my role as governor. I'm doing my best here to provide support and resources, but the role in our jurisdiction is also clear, and that's why this is a 4-month operation. It's not a permanent operation. We're not here to take all the prosecution away from the DA, not even close, just to support and reduce some of that stress on the complex cases. And AG's office is well equipped to do that, and we are providing that support if the AG needs it for our JAGs. We have one in particular, 25 years of remarkable experience from Southern California, is ready to come on up, take these cases next level, rock star, and we're just eager to get moving.
Governor, thank you.
Thank you. With that, well, that's a good way to end. Eager to get moving. I'll end this as I always end this. We'll be back. And we have your back, Oakland and Alameda. You matter. We care. And we have a lot more work to do together. Thank you all very much.